Good evening, everybody. Average Gamer here, and today I have another video. That's right, another video. Videos coming left and right at you. That's right, tons of videos. So, what's going on today? Well, last night there was a town hall meeting with Mr. Russ Bullock from PGI, the president of the company, and he gave a whole bunch of information and roughly about 2 hours worth of stuff. So, I watched it, and looked at it, and realized, wow, that's a lot of information. One thing I realized too is some people may not have a full 2 hours to go over things or to read the whole thing, right? Because there's lots of stuff in there that really wasn't needed or useful or anything like that. So with that in mind, I thought I'd kind of trim the fat in my eyes. You can still, there'll be a link in the description still to the live stream, but this is what I feel. What's the stuff that kind of came up? The stuff that I think definitely needs to be mentioned, and definitely should be brought out to the forefront. With that in mind, the whole thing, the main topics, in my eyes, that occurred were the new battle system, community warfare, the solo group queue was kind of talked about a little bit. Just some other stuff that was kind of randomly brought up and through the academy, and some information on the unseen, or as we'll get into that. I have a separate video for that altogether. With that in mind, we're just going to jump right into this. Kind of keep things short, sweet, and beautiful. The new battle system. So, what is going on with the new battle system? Right? Everyone was like, "Well, it was supposed to come out, but it hasn't." What the fuck? Okay, so. The new battle system. Well, originally it was supposed to be public. There was supposed to be a public test and all that stuff, but they're having some server issues, so it's being delayed. Initially, the private test servers were supposed to come up today, the 11th. They were going to announce it and say, "Hey, come on, everybody! Hop on, try the new system." Fortunately, due to some server issues, they had to push everything back. So right now, it's no longer set up for the September 22nd release. It's going to be pushed back to at least October by the earliest. Between now and then, there will be some tests. Now, they want to mention, and Russ Bullock specifically said, that expectations will be far off at start. Meaning that, it's still untested, and it won't be 100% at release, and will be a work in progress. Expect changes. With that in mind, there will be a public testing for feedback. They didn't say a specific day or time or whatever, but it's probably end of September, beginning of October. Now, depending on the feedback and what information they get, they might push back the release a little bit, which isn't too bad, which is pretty good. If they get constructive criticism, deconstructive criticism, bitching and moaning, they'll see what they can do. Now, one thing they want to do is they want to say that the new value system, or the battle value, or the combat, the combat worthiness, or the combat value, we'll say, of the mech, because they don't really have a set name yet. They're going with mech value. They don't want to go with the battle value system, the name, mainly because they want to keep that with the board game. And it's two different bases. They said there's way too many variables associated with the way it's set up for MechWarrior Online that they don't want to use the same name because it's technically not the same system. So they don't want people to come into it thinking, oh, it's the battle value system. Okay, if I build that mech A out like this, like I did in the board game, it'll be worth the same. But it won't be. So they want to call it something else. They're going to come out with a new name, or a different name at least. They're kind of mentioning like mech value. I'm thinking combat value, because your combat value of your mech is bang. Because you put mech value, I'm thinking, well, this is how much how much C-bills my mech's worth, right? When you put the word value in there, boom. I would say combat rating. Combat effectiveness number, right? They'll probably say what the min and max is. The max, who knows what the max will be? It'll probably be the 9 ER PPC Direwolf theoretically. But here's the thing: the way they're going to break down the value of the mech, we'll just say mech value for now, their battle value for now. It's going to be where the mech's hard points are, high, low, etc. What engine it has, its weight, its speed, fixed and or locked equipment. Some of the newer mechs coming out are going to have fixed and locked equipment, i.e. engine, for example, are locked and fixed. In with clan mechs, well, with IS they're not. Also, what equipment are on them? ECM, weapons, you name it. So the overall rating will be per mech. One thing they wanted to say was no mechs will be edited to fit a specific number. It'll be, this is what the number is associated with this mech, that's it. If you change weapons and engines, obviously that'll change it, but that's the thing. They're also going to set it up somewhere where you can see what the number is going to be associated with the mech as well. I'm thinking it's going to probably be where the quirk is in there somewhere. It'll say battle value, combat effectiveness, or combat effectiveness, something like that. They're also going to say is they're going to do at least more than they're going to try at least one test round, if not more, before release, which I mentioned earlier. Quirks will also be included in battle value, meaning that they're not getting rid of them. They're keeping them. With this addition to the new system, the first stage of World Warfare will be created with the new sensor system, i.e. ECM. Now, mind you, here's the thing with this one. They kept saying, or he kept saying, the new sensor system. The new sensor system. The new sensor system. He mentioned ECM, but he kept saying new sensor system. So I'm thinking, it's going to be more than just ECM, from the sounds of it. With that in mind, one of the things they're also stating is, the one thing he also mentioned, not guaranteed, but weapons might get tweaked a little bit, like fire rate, heat generation, and all that stuff, when taken into effect. One of the things they mentioned was the AC2, with the fact that, you have to take so many tonnage of ammo versus what it rate its fire is versus how much heat it generates. So they're also looking at balancing maybe some of the weapons and things like that. I wouldn't expect that too much, but it's one of the things. So that's the main stuff associated with the new system, associated with the rating of the mech for matches. Now, Community Warfare. So one thing he wanted to say specifically was, even though it's called Phase 3, he really doesn't feel like it's Phase 3. He feels like it's the third section of Phase 1 still. So I definitely wanted to mention that. I'm not going to call it Phase 3, even though I put Phase 3 right here. We're just going to say, it's the next patch. One thing he wanted to say was it was delayed. It was supposed to be done this month, but it got pushed back. The reason for it was because they're putting more emphasis on the new player situation, the academy, the looking for group, patches and bug fixes, the new mech lab, the new mech select screen, and the new home screen, which will be coming out soon. They kind of went and did that. He wanted to state that they are at least 50 to 60% done. The next iteration of Community Warfare, 4v4 versus 4v4 scouting, is done. So you still do the whole thing that they said, where you unlock the long tom, the sensor systems, all that stuff. That's exactly what they're going to do. One thing he wanted to reiterate is they're now going to be our 3 factions. So they're going to redo all that as well. So there's the houses, or inner sphere, the clans, and then the mercs. So you're broken up into those 3. They're still going with the voting. Each house or each unit or each group, IS, clan, or mercs, or IS and clan specifically. Now here's the thing: IS and clan specifically will vote on who to attack. They can only attack one group per time. So say for example Razzlehag, we can vote to attack pretty much Ghost Bear, Jade Falcon, I think, Rita, I think it's Davian, and that's it. But we get to vote, and then I believe it's for X amount of time, we only fight that side. That's it. You can only fight one group. Attack and defend that one group. So it looks to see what everyone voted for on all the different groups. So everyone in Razzlehag votes for who they want to attack. All the other groups vote on who they want to attack. So say Gummy Bear says they want to attack Davian. Jade Falcon says they want to attack Davian. We vote for Gummy Bear. Smoke Jaguar votes us. FRR. Karita votes FRR, for example. They would look at that and say, okay, well, this is who everyone wants to attack, but that's not going to work. So, in that in mind, they'll tweak it, right? One thing they want to look at was also using C-bills for upgrading defense for the entire faction. So the units themselves have money, but they can put that money towards the faction upgrades for defenses only, and to pay mercs to fight. So it's still the same iteration they want to do. It's still on target. It's just being pushed back. They don't want to set a specific date yet for the release. It's in the works. They said it's just a matter of what's going on now. For all you people that are interested, there are going to be leaderboards specifically for community warfare. Only. One thing they mentioned was it'll be tracking things like planets taken by a unit, all that stuff. It's probably also going to be damage dealt, kills by people, all that stuff. That'll all be thrown into community warfare as well. And they said that there might be, obviously there'll be rewards. They're talking about the whole new reward system as well. But one of the things they mentioned was MC rewards. Mr. Bullock there was kind of on the fence from the sounds of it, but you never know. There is the new reward system. Didn't really go into depth into that, just the fact that there is going to be a new one. They said that once it comes out, though, it will take at least a couple months, 2 to 3 months, I'm figuring myself personally, to smooth out any issues with what's going on, which makes sense. They did say, and he did say, you will have 2 drop decks. 2 drop decks. One thing was specifically because he mentioned mercs, because they're not aligned to Innersphere or Clan, their 2 drop decks most likely be 1 Clan, 1 Innersphere. Makes sense. Innersphere will be 1 as a 12-man, 1 as a 4-man. Makes sense. And same with the Clan. 1 is 12 and 1 is 4. So it's kind of all set up properly. So you have multiple decks. So when you drop into a match, you say, "I want to do 4v4." It grabs your 4v4 deck and brings it up. I'm thinking it's probably 2 mechs instead of 4. Makes sense. One thing he also mentioned was something along the lines of a future theme associated with the second Succession War. He kind of mentioned it offhand, like they're looking at something like that. But that tells me right there that what I'm thinking they're going to do is do like a dynamic battlefield, like a battlefield-esque thing, where for this month, the community warfare map gets reset, and it's the Succession War, or it's the Blank War. It's basically they set up the map with all the different with all the different groups, and say, okay, the theme for this month is blank. Go. Because he mentioned that they still want to keep the theme. He said specifically the theme of the clan invasion going, which is telling me that. And then he mentioned the Succession War, so I'm thinking, obviously, there's going to have multiple different themes, which is pretty good. Solo group queue, there was some information. They're still going to keep groups of any size, obviously max of 12. One of the things they want to do is shift some of the the stuff rated with who drops when. First part was tonnage. They want to institute a tonnage system, if possible. It's still in the works. It's still in the concept phase, mainly because when they did all the math and worked it out, they realized that groups of 2 had more tonnage technically than groups of 12 when they dropped. Like, they just have more available to them, right? Like, we could drop in 2 100-ton mechs. Boom, there you go. Well, a 12-man group was capped at whatever max limit they set everyone up at. And he didn't say specifically, but he said a 12-man group had the disadvantage of a smaller group, because the smaller group could basically pick whatever the fuck they wanted and run whatever they wanted. And they would just be, kind of slid in, right? So the smaller the group, the more advantage it has tonnage-wise, and would end up having an extra 30 to 40 tons in a match, which, when you think about it, adds up. For Group Q, they want to institute both the new player stat ranking and tonnage for groups. Well, right now, for the single player, it's already being taken effect, he said. It looks at what mech you're running, how much it is, what your ranking is. It puts you in the right match. For groups, he said, from the sounds of it, it's definitely got some issues with it. It looks basically at everyone's rating and just throws them in the match and sees what they're running and just kind of fits them in. Now they're trying to think, well, if you're running a 12-man, let's start looking at your tonnage too with everybody. So there you go. They also want to institute a voting system, so in group mode, from the sounds of it. So a whole group of 12, everyone gets in the room or whatever. Everyone votes on the type of game mode. For example, conquest and all that stuff. One thing they mentioned, he kind of mentioned it in passing, and it kind of went under the radar a little bit, where they're thinking of instituting the 4v4 way they've designed that game, that mode for community warfare, into the 12v12 group and solo queues, which tell me right there that it's probably 4 people, each with 3 mechs, which isn't that bad when you think about it. There's obviously the tonnage limit and all that stuff, so it sounds like they're trying to kind of create the group queue as kind of like offsets of community warfare now, but just on the the solo and group queue maps, which is pretty good. So that information's pretty good so far. I have some information here on the Academy. We're going to skip the over there. We're going to go right to the Academy. The first part is the Academy is going to go live on the 22nd. It will not be 100% complete when it drops though on the 22nd. It'll be missing 2 modes. They've got some bugs apparently with it, and they just want to kind of work on them and flesh them out a little bit. If you go to where the light is, the little indicator on the map, what it is, you'll just get a little pop-up saying it's coming soon, which is pretty good. They figure by October 6th they'll have complete integration, not completion, but integration into the game, meaning that all the different modes will be available. One thing that obviously with this game is it's always going to be changing. Things are always going to be added, taking out, so whatever. They're also calling this, or what I'm calling this, is Stage 1 of Player versus Environment. What they've done is they've set up the base for the PvE system in the Academy. Is what basically they kept saying was the Academy is basically their first foray into PvE and AI, and they wanted to set up the building blocks all in the Academy for the PvE and the single player stuff. One thing they want to mention too is new players will be forced to go into the Academy when they first start. It sends them right into it. They do the whole first section with the running part, and the shooting of the few mechs, and so they have to do all that until it's the whole dropping you in front of the Atlas. And somewhere in there it'll tell them they can exit out. One of the things that also mentioned too was that that little the little indicator saying that where your feet are pointed, that will be there for a limited time for new players as well. Kind of like with the cadet bonus. He said something to do with the cadet bonus as well. So it's probably over time it'll probably just go away. Now, this is the next part is just kind of the other stuff, like questions and answers he had. So some of the stuff may not be in order properly. There are a couple of UI things in here and there, so we'll kind of go into things. Like I said, they did make the tools for the Academy as the groundwork for player versus environment, or PvE. One thing they mentioned was Alpine and Terra Firma are being reworked. Right now they're having issues with both of them. Basically, they're having a hard time redoing the maps and making them fair for both teams. One thing they want to mention is Alpine might be more like the boreal forest from the community warfare map, because they're getting rid of the middle mountain. Like right in the middle, how there's that little ledge, and one side has to kind of swirl up the little ravine, like the little crevices, while the other side has that nice little slope. They're getting rid of that. Basically, it sounds like they're making a nice, slowly sloping hill right in the middle, kind of like Caustic Valley, basically, from the sounds of it. With that in mind, boom, Caustic Valley is now actually going to be the first one to come out. It's going to be the first one to come out. I think he said it's going to come out in the next month or something like that. Basically, they like the way the map is. They're basically just changing, obviously the environmental stuff and the breakables and all that stuff. So they're basically giving it the overall pass that they did with Forest Colony and River City, but they're keeping it the same size. They're just making it look better, basically. They did mention that there's going to be possible more game loads in the game. That's where I mentioned earlier where they're talking about integrating the 4v4 for community warfare into the solo and group queue drops, meaning that the way that game's set up, you're gonna kind of do the same thing, but you're gonna be 12v12 basically. So it sounds like it's just their way of kind of going, okay, well, we can use the same maps. So it sounds like definitely for community warfare, we'll be using the generic maps that everyone else uses in the solo and group queue matches. But you're gonna be 4 mechs running 3 with 3, so 2 in the stable and 1 running. One of the things they are in the process of testing is Cockpit Screens. Right now, they're currently in the concept stage. They said don't expect anything anytime soon. They'll say more news around October and November about it. But right now they're having issues just with texture qualities and things like that. They're also looking at, also in concept stage, is Oculus Rift. They're looking at integration with it and all that stuff. They said they might integrate it in regards to a public test server run in the future when they're doing something else. And they might be like, hey, just so you know as well, we've worked on some integration with the following, we changed the following things with the group queue, or we changed the following with a bunch, this following stuff. By the way, we also added Oculus Rift integration just for the public test server. If you have one, plug it in. Tell us how it works. With that in mind, Russ really did said MechWarrior Online is pretty much the perfect game for it to see if it works. They said they're not really nothing right now. It's all just a might. He did announce that the first Clan Hero mech will be coming out this fall, so the next 3 months. It will be a Timberwolf. Boom. There you go. They said the 2Cs will all be coming out, all of them, which tells me right there, the Marauder 2C, right? That's one. They're also working on a new Camo UI screen, and specifically the UI, the user interface for it. Basically make it easier to use, easier to navigate and stuff like that. Overall, the skill tab, or the skill screen as well, they want to do changes not just to the UI, but the overall look, the way the tree is, the depth. But they said nothing's going to happen at least for the next 3 to 4 months. It's still in the concept stage, so don't expect anything too soon. There's the arrow I mentioned. There's a new home screen coming in the next little bit. Steam launch. No ETA. October at the earliest, but that's it. Coming October, roughly October, is going to be the new contact screen with players. So when you're in a match at the beginning or at the end, you can right-click on a player and it'll give you the option. They'll say report, add as friend, whatever. Invite probably to unit, things like that will be an option. One other thing they mentioned, if you're living in, for example, Australia or anywhere other than North America, specifically Canada, obviously, or if you're more important, because you think you are, the America. They're looking into 24-hour support for people basically outside of the Pacific coast. When asked that, he kind of went, oh yeah, I guess we should think about that now, eh? Because now they have the 3 different servers. Now I was looking at, well, if I'm in Australia, it's afternoon when it's night there, right? So if I send an email, it's going to take twice as long for that integration for any problems. So it could take a week instead of like a couple days. They also mentioned that there's going to be a possible stock mech or time of day or IS or clan only option in private matches, so you'll be able to turn those on and off. That's pretty cool. I like that. That wouldn't be too bad. Now, the big thing. Before I get into that, I want to bring up this picture right here. So this picture is of the new Camo system, not Camo system, but the new special edition mechs that are coming out for the customer service appreciation. This stuff is going to be integrated in to the special edition mechs by basically when you add a camo to the mech, this hexagon pattern will still stay on the mech. What will then happen is whatever camo you put on there, it'll still have the camo colors that you want, but this hexagon color will still be there. It'll still be present. It's kind of like how last year when they did the 3 special edition mechs, the King Crab, the Centurion, and the Atlas, they had a chrome effect to them. It's the exact same thing. It's pretty cool. I like it. It's not too bad. Now, the next thing I'm going to mention, pretty much everyone's going to like this. If I can get... Oh, freaking... I love Windows 10. There we go. Is, boom, right here. As of September 15th. The Mauler, bam, the Unseen will be released. Basically, what's going on is due to the issues with Harmony Gold and all that stuff. Basically, as Russ Bullock put it, this is a completely designed and intellectual property of Piranha Games. That this mech was this robot and this concept was created by them 100%, and is theirs. With that in mind, what they're going to say is this: as of Monday, there'll be 2 packages available. Technically, though, I'm saying there's technically 4 packages. Well, 5. Package number 1, $20. You get 3 variants. Variant ABC, we'll say. Package number 2, you get variants ABC plus a 4th one that's basically the champion version, or the special edition, the collector's edition mech. Kind of like how it was with the Irby. Package number 3, this is where it gets difficult. We're different. Is the Hero Mech. The Hero Mech is the give me 1 second. Is the Bounty Hunter. He said roughly it'd be $20 to $30 for it all by itself, 25 to 30 or something like that. Now, here's the catch-22. Because that's package 3, I said there's 5. Package number 4 is the $20 package with your 3 mechs, plus, if you want to, $15 instead of 25 to 30, so you save $10, possibly, or $15, depending on what the price they decide on. You can add that for $15 to package number 1. So instead of being $20, it's $35. You get the 3 mechs plus the hero. Or for the $40 package, it's actually $55, and you add on the hero mech there as well. So it's kind of like you add on a la carte the hero mech, and they knock off $10 or however much, which is pretty good when you think about it, especially for a hero mech. So with that in mind, they're going to do it the same way as the Irby, where it's going to be released. The information is released on Monday, all about it. But basically, that's the price ranges-ish, barring any changes. What you're seeing on the screen now is generally what they're going to look like. From what I understand is the one on the right is supposed to be the hero, but that may change. That might be the collector's edition paint job. This artist rendering, it's still going to change and all that stuff. So, we'll have to see how that turns out. In addition to all that stuff, they did want to say that these mechs is their intellectual property, and as so will be defended. Meaning that, if you know the story, Harmony Gold is this company that basically sued a bunch of people back in the day and said that, since they owned certain rights because, certain things looked like some of the other stuff, and they won. And there's been legal fights all over the world. So there's a whole bunch of mechs classified as the Unseen. This is the first one that they're talking about. Second one is the Warhammer. They said that it's already past the concept stage, what you're seeing now with these guys, but they just don't want to release the picture yet. With that in mind, there definitely is a bit of a legal thing going on. So technically, there's legal action and legal stuff that happens. I will say this now: probably what'll happen is Monday they'll announce it. Friday they'll announce they're getting sued by Harmony Gold or whatever the name of the company is, saying, "Hey, just so you know, we're taking you to court because of this." They may take it down for a little while and say, "Hey guys, listen, we are now getting sued because we're doing this. So due to legal purposes or whatever, we have to take it down technically, or what have you." But if you just happen to click the following link, you can still purchase it or something. I don't know. But yeah, so there may be legal things going on in the future associated with MWO and these mechs. So with that in mind, that's all the information associated with the town hall, all summed up in about 30 minutes. Faster than pizza, what can I say? If you didn't get that joke, it's a pizza place here in Ontario. They deliver pizza. They say 40 minutes or it's free. So with that in mind, thanks for watching. Hope you like this quick little synopsis or breakdown of the 2-hour-long, 2+ hour-long town hall meeting. Appreciate you sticking out this long. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you like my video, thank you very much. If you dislike it, tell me why. If you like it, feel free to comment as well. Comments are appreciated, likes are appreciated, dislikes are appreciated, as long as you tell me why why you don't like it. But anyways, thanks for watching. Don't forget to if you see me on the battlefield, to say hi. See you guys on the battlefield, hopefully at a future date. See you guys later. Bye-bye.